So 2024 was another incredible year with many of you once again sitting on 50%, 70%, 90%, and even 100% gains just this year after an incredible 2023 where you saw virtually the same exact gains, if not better. 2023 brought the rise of Meta, of Google, of Amazon, Nvidia, and that actually kind of continued for most of those stocks into this year. But now Palantir, Tesla, and SOFI, and many others have joined the party too. But that was 2023 and 2024, and as with everything in the stock market, each year brings different winners and different losers too. So let's talk about my 5 favorite stocks for 2025 that I think will be my biggest winners in 2025. So make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth without the hype, because that's exactly what you're going to get today. Now, keep in mind, these are the 5 stocks that I personally own that I think will return the best in 2025 only. Now, there will be other stocks that are going to return better, and I honestly just don't own them, so how the heck can I put them on this list? I don't know anything about them really. I can only speak to my stocks, and remember guys, keep this in mind. It doesn't mean that I don't believe in the other stocks that I own over the long term, actually more than these stocks that are on this list today. I believe in those stocks, but they may not return as well as others next year since the setup isn't as nice as it is for these 5 stocks. So this also doesn't make it the 5 of my highest conviction plays either, or the ones that I think are actually going to return the most over the next 10 years. I mean, that list would probably look a little bit different if that was the case and we were making that list. And I guess comment down below if you want to see my list of my top 5 stocks for like the next 5 years or something of that nature into the future here. Now, I did this list last year at the beginning of the year, and I had PayPal, SOFI, Google, Palantir, and Tesla. And I got to say, guys, I think we knocked it out of the park with those picks. And we actually bought every single one of those stocks this year too. Right here in 2024, we bought SOFI in the $5 range. We bought Palantir in the teens in the low 20s, Tesla in the 140s and 160s or so, PayPal in the 50s, and Google in the 130s, if you can believe that. That is ridiculous returns on all those stocks just in this year. And you were able to buy those stocks this year, and you would have seen all those buys in real time if you took advantage of the holiday sale last year. So once again, the holiday sale is live this year. And once the holidays are over, the price goes up forever. So now is the time to join. If you want all my buy and sell alerts, just like you got last year with those stocks, this year in real time, you want my complete watch list with price targets, you want to get your free coaching, 5 courses for free, stock analyzer tools, so much more, guys. We'll talk more about it at the end. It's the pinned comment down there. Now, I got to be upfront. I don't know if we can replicate another triple-digit year and again in returns of gains, because valuations are now stretched on many of those names that we absolutely loved, but I still believe in all of them long-term. Even if I don't think they will return as well as some of the other stocks on this list this year, I still believe in all of them long-term. So kind of keep that in mind as we jump into this. So number 5 is SOFI. I have this one as kind of 5th on the list, and it almost didn't make the list at all because I personally believe 2026 is going to be the big breakout year for SOFI. I'm not sure if we're going to get that this year or not. Now, I could be completely wrong, and I'm okay with that. That's because that's just kind of how the stock market works. I win regardless. It's not like I'm telling you to trade out of it now because I think it's going to do this and then we'll get back into it here at this level. I'm drawing a bunch of goofy lines and crap like that. Not saying that at all. I'm just saying I think the setup in regards to this year is okay. We're not crazy overvalued like a lot of other favorites are, but we still are kind of trading on that higher end of that valuation. And I just think the bigger numbers are going to come in 2026 versus 2025. So for me, 5 was the best I could put it on the list there. And like I said, it almost kind of fell off. Now, Wall Street can do whatever the heck they want, guys. You guys got to keep that in mind. Wall Street can push this sucker to any level that they want to. Hey, great. I'm a winner regardless. I own the stock. I own plenty of shares. But any dip, you guys know I'm going to be buying it up. It's exactly what we've done with the stock over and over and over again. And I'm happy to do it again. Can't wait to hear what their guidance is for next year. I really think that's going to give it another nice boost up and show them just to continue to execute into the foreseeable future. So number 4 is Amazon. All right, so I would agree. Amazon has had a great year. Obviously, when we were buying it back in the 80s, that was just stupid ridiculous. A great year from Amazon overall. But look at the valuation. It is still not trading that expensive, especially when if you look at it on a forward basis. And to me, Amazon is just one of those growth beasts. It just continues to come in and crush it. They're during one of these expansion times right now. Now we'll have our time where it kind of flatlines for a while and it didn't go anywhere, but we're kind of not to that point yet. And especially whenever I look at valuation, especially as Wall Street starts to look for, hey, what are some of the great plays that are kind of a little bit undervalued or at least fair valued? It has not had the giant run up in regards to valuation that a lot of other stocks have had. So some of that money is going to flow into Amazon. More importantly, I think they're going to continue to just have they've already had. They're going to continue to have great earnings all of next year. And a lot of that earnings is not priced into the stock yet, like it is for a lot of other stocks on this list right here. But for them, it is not right now. So I'm happy to own this stock. And I'm very, very pleased with having a large position in Amazon, and of course, getting an opportunity to add Amazon over the course of last year. And of course, a couple of years ago, we got steal deals on Amazon. So for me, it's number 4 on the list. But let's jump into number 3, and that would be Google. All of a sudden, there's a big hype wave behind Google again, which just kind of seems to come. First, it was ChatGPT is going to kill it. Then it's they're behind in the AI race. Then it's the government's looking to them like they do every single large tech company. It's just Google's turn now. So I'm sure some of that negative narrative is going to come in here, but it's kept the price down. And I do believe that although it's not trading at the cheapest we've seen, it is still a great bargain. It's still a great stock. And obviously with some of these quantum computing things and some of the other things, although I don't really see how I can peg a valuation to it yet, I guess we'll see on the next earnings call. If we get some formal guidance on it or something else of that nature, you can definitely see it's something that is big that they're working on in the future. And anybody who doubted a company like Google with the talent that they have, with the management team that they have, and just the overall assets that they have, didn't think that they were just going to somehow turn into the next, I don't know, giant tech company that just goes nowhere and has no revenue growth and no innovation for the next 20 years. You just clearly aren't paying attention. You haven't studied this company close enough, or you're just listening to the news media or YouTube or whatever. Don't do that. Pay attention to what's going on with Google here and understand that even during this hot market, it is one of the plays that definitely has gotten cheaper from a valuation perspective. And if they can kind of move past a lot of the Justice Department stuff, which all big tech gets caught up into it, they kind of move on. It goes through the court system and all the other stuff, and it kind of goes in waves per se with these guys. It's kind of part of being a big tech CEO. You just know you're going to be standing in front of Congress a bunch of different times. Part of the job there. Once they kind of get to the other side of that, it'll be able to do its thing and continue its march up. And hopefully that happens next year. But more importantly, I think we're going to see some great earnings and some great guidance next year as well. So for me, I like how Google's sitting next year in regards to providing me a great return on my money. Now, number 2 is Tesla, but with a giant caveat. Okay, I know you guys get on to me all the time. I don't know. Some guys, you guys think because I don't want to overpay for Tesla, I'm somehow a bear of some sort. I don't know. I get all kinds of different narratives around Tesla. But having said that, yes, Tesla is on a great run. Yes, Tesla is overvalued right now. However, we have something really big in terms of a new model being introduced that should help out with demand. We also have a lot of things coming next year in regards to some things maturing. Obviously, energy continuing to mature, some things actually finishing and being pushed out, which is great. So no, this is not a play on Optimus or Robotaxi, any of these other things of that nature, which are going to garner a lot of attention, especially in the Tesla community. But in terms of adding anything meaningful to the bottom line, it is not happening next year with those particular things. Now, I think that new model absolutely will. Of course, I think as interest rates start to ease into the next year, that obviously is going to help Tesla's business. Obviously, depending upon some government regulation, that may create some actual additional hype behind Tesla. So for me, in regards to returning well next year, to say that Tesla can't go on a hype run and get stupid overvalued is completely false. That happens to Tesla all the time. And so for me to underestimate the fact that some things are lining up for another big hype run. Now, I'm not talking about, man, I go to 2021 where we get to 1,000 PE or anything like that, especially with that new model coming out. And, I think it's going to do very, very well. So that may actually be able to keep the valuation from getting just crazy like it did back in 2021. But nonetheless, to say that hype train might not push Tesla to being one of the best gainers next year, you just haven't been paying attention to how Tesla works and how the stock market works overall. Would it be justified? Man, it would take a whole heck of a lot to actually make that somewhat of a fair value assessment if we got some crazy price into the next year. But when Tesla gains momentum and it gets started, and to me, whenever I can point to some tangible things that are coming in earnings, finally, here we are 3 years later from the last time there was going to be big tangible things in earnings, finally starting to see that turn back around and some other macro factors and some other things that affect Tesla's business moving in the right direction. For me to negate that and say, yeah, I know Tesla's on a big run, but it can't run further. That for me is just kind of not paying attention to how Tesla moves. And so that's why I have it at number 2 here. All right, so on to number 1, and that would be PayPal. And yes, we will discuss why Palantir didn't make it here in just a second, guys. Before you run down and blast me, at least hear it. Then if you want to go down and blast me, hey, fine. I'm okay with that too. But for me, PayPal is still one of the most undervalued stock in the stock market. And if you paid any attention to this management team, if you've been tracking the stock intimately like we have, really for the past 2 years now, at least, maybe 3, but since Alex came in, this was the year of transitioning the business. This was the year of getting rid of all the junk, starting to start the innovations, get them all rolling, and completely turning the business around, and they have hit every single mark. So I did not expect massive EPS jumps this year. However, next year, I do expect big jumps in regards to EPS, in regards to PayPal, maybe not first quarter, but getting towards the tail end of that year, you're going to start seeing huge jumps in EPS as all these new innovations and as they continue to execute on what they've been executing on over the past year. So that sets up a scenario where not only is the stock undervalued, but the valuation as well is based upon a number that I think is too low, and they're actually going to have a significantly higher EPS number in the future. So that kind of gives you that double whammy of you have a lot of room for this stock to run up and be a massive winner next year. Now they have to execute to it. A lot of those things have to actually come true. But so far, in regards to this year and how this year's shaping up, last year I thought they were going to do very, very well, and they did do well this year. But a lot of other stocks were severely beaten down and significantly more undervalued than PayPal was. But this year, that is not the case at all. Everybody else has kind of had these epic, 2x, 3x, 5x runs. And so PayPal is the one, it's run, but not like those other stocks have. So for me, it's setting up nicely for it to have its big run over here the next year. Now, I don't expect the 5x or anything crazy like that. Don't get it wrong. But I also don't need my portfolio to 5x every year like everybody tends to pretend like they can do every year. That's why we have trillionaire investors, right? Oh, that's right. We don't have trillionaire investors. Therefore, that's not realistic. It's great whenever we have a couple of years like we just had, but now we're going to get down to more of a normal market here. And so I'm not expecting that sort of run out of PayPal, but I do expect great things overall, given where it's at valuation wise and given how well they've executed this year. So why did Palantir not make the list? You guys know, you guys asked the question earlier this year, what stock, if I had to go all in on one stock, which I would never do, but if I did, what stock would that be? I said Palantir, and we're up massively from that time, but that wasn't a short-term thing. That wasn't just for this year. That was for 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So for me, Palantir is still squarely going to be a great company 5 years from now. I have no desire to sell Palantir. Hopefully I've made that clear over and over and over again on this channel. However, I cannot say that they have not pulled a lot of their earnings into the future here. Now that doesn't mean it's going to crater down to $25 or anything like that. It could just trade flat or kind of bounce around, kind of become range bound for the next year. I don't know, you guys pull up the pretty charts and graphs. I'm sure you guys can figure out where that would fall a lot better than I could. But for me to see Palantir doubling over the next year, I mean, oh gosh, there's nothing in regards to earnings. There's nothing in regards to guidance. Even if I want to get super rosy with guidance and try to give guidance that I think is going to be better than what Alex is going to give, or even double it, I'm still not sure I could justify a price going up to $150 or whatever the case was next year. So for me, that's why Palantir isn't on this list. Not because I don't believe it's great, not because I don't believe in it 5 years, but because we pulled so much forward. And if you understand how Palantir works, they play the long game. Alex is not going to try to execute on something faster this year just to try and create more momentum in the stock or something of that nature. It's not what he's going to do. He's going to hang back. He's going to go, wow. He's going to say, this stock's going to look really cheap 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm sorry. I know there's some folks out there predicting $1,000 per share next year or 2026 or whatever the case is. I mean, that would be wonderful. I win big. I would be a massive winner, but that is a massive surprise. And that is just pure speculation, pure hype. That is based on nothing except for just hopes, dreams, and everything else. Now, if it happens, great. I've added a lot more to my net worth. And obviously a lot of you guys are out there as well will do the same exact thing. But I don't believe in investing that direction, and it has nothing to do. Matter of fact, I hope I get a chance, like we did in 2022, to just add a Palantir at nice low level. Same thing in 2023. Please beat it down again, down to some ridiculously stupid, cheap valuation again, so I get more time to build that out. So maybe there's a little bit of me hoping that's what happens instead of the other, so that way I can add more shares of a great stock. But that's why Palantir didn't make my list this year. If I happen to be wrong, I'm sorry. Whenever you win that big and you're wrong, I'd call that winning in the end regardless. That's the reason why I invest the way that I invest, because I end up in a win-win situation regardless. That's why traders don't beat dead people, and dead people end up outperforming everybody because they don't play those games. And remember, if you wanted to see all the buys I make in next year in real time, make sure you take advantage of the holiday sale. It's live now, where you get all that. You get free coaching, access to free courses, complete access to me, live Q&As. You can jump on my DMs. We have so many different things going on in there in the group, the best 6, 7, and 8-figure Discord out there, helping you become a better investor. Definitely check out the pinned comment, see if a membership's right for you. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.